Hello and welcome back to a game that some of y'all might be familiar with and others may not be. This is pure rock crawling. Now, pure rock crawling is essentially someone's labor of love. It's someone's passion project, and it's been going on for many, many, many years. Now, whether or not you're entirely familiar with it, though, entirely depends on how into kind of off-the-wall, obscure off-roading games, which there are some people that are really into that, and then there are others that are not into that kind of thing at all. Now, this is only available on PC though, so do keep that in mind if this is a game you are wanting to look into or wanting to play. Now, another kind of little disclaimer-ish thing that I want to go ahead and get out there right out of the gate. I'm sure there are going to be people that are going to compare this in terms of realism to BeamNG Drive, which obviously you're not going to get the same kind of tire to rock surface, like physical simulation that you would get in BeamNG Drive. But at the same time, don't let that push you away from trying this game because it is a really, really fun little experience. Now, honestly, the way I really enjoy playing this game most is frankly just approaching it from the standpoint of I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to chill out and hang out in these different maps and hang out in the world of the game and just enjoy interacting with the environment. Now, this map that we're on is actually brand new to the game. And not only does it look really, really nice, but it also has a lot of interesting little miniature trail systems that are kind of intertwined throughout the map. Honestly, this game always gave off that vibe of one of those indoor miniature biome environment things that people that are into RC rock crawling will build in their shed or in their basement or in their spare room or whatever the case may be, or in their workshop. Because I don't know if it's entirely like the scale of this game or if it's the environment or the way the textures look or the way the vehicles feel, but even though it is meant to, like the purpose of it is meant to feel like you're driving a full-size vehicle, this game always felt just a little bit more like I was driving an RC. And as odd as that may sound, I feel like it's not super far off from the experience that this game provides you with. Now, another thing is, I know that there's probably also going to be people that are going to wonder why haven't they necessarily seen this game before? And to be honest, it hasn't been on my channel in a long time because it's kind of been out of the radar of games that I've been playing a lot lately. And that's, of course, in part due to the fact that there's been a lot of newer games coming out and a lot of games that I've been wanting to dive into and spend time on. But it's always nice to jump back into this game and just be able to feel super at home in it, no matter how many updates it gets. It's always got almost like the same, bones, if you will, that it always had. And it honestly kind of feels like a little bit of an old friend in that regard. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while, and you've definitely grown. You've definitely come into your own in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's still kind of that same level of nostalgia that you've always felt for the game, even though it's been through a bunch of updates over and over and over again. Now, obviously, if you're into really, really fast-paced gameplay all the time, honestly, this game will probably end up being a little bit boring to you. This is more of a zone out and enjoy yourself kind of experience. And I think that there's definitely a place for that for sure. But if you're looking for an experience where you're, I don't know, maybe bombing through a desert at high speed, or you're smashing into things all the time, or there's always stuff, blowing up or going everywhere, or there's always something going on screen, this is probably not the experience for you. If you're looking for an experience like that, you should probably just play BeamNG Drive. And that's no shade against BeamNG Drive either. I mean, they're both wonderful games and wonderful experiences, but they're on entirely different playing fields, and so I don't really feel like you can compare the two. What's also really wild about this game is to see truly how far it has progressed over time. Honestly, if you look back at this game's history, I mean, this game came out in 2018, and ever since it released in 2018, it has received periodic updates from its original developer over and over and over again. And I believe that it's either a small, like an ultra small team, or it's maybe even a one-person team, although don't quote me on that because I may be wrong, I may be incorrect. Either way, it's an incredible feat what they have done here. And honestly, as time goes on, we see a lot of different games approaching the off-road category a little bit differently. I mean, obviously, you had say for example, back when this came out. And ever since then, we've seen development in the off-road gameplay of games from BeamNG Drive over to games like GTA. And then, of course, the entire Runner series, which when this came out, Mud Runner was sort of like in its own prime and having its own sort of big moment in the series, both in terms of community as well as modding support. And as time goes on and more people either get into or get out of the off-road gaming sort of space, it's always interesting to see how this game kind of seems to just remain. Now, I'm sure that that's partially due to the fact that this is someone's baby. This is someone's passion project. And because it is someone's passion project, it's kind of got both the good and bad aspects of that. Now, obviously, this is not going to see any kind of backing from a massive studio or, things that would require a massive studio in order to do. Whereas I think this game is honestly what I would imagine for its overall future is it's probably just going to keep seeing those periodic updates from its original creator just over and over and over again. And if it's one of those games that you don't play very often, but you do check back in with it every once in a while, I think it's actually a really good game for that, because it's like, sure, it's not going to be like a live service game where it's constantly changing and there's new season this and new season that and new vehicle this and new that and new this and new that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, let's say you played it a lot and then you put it down and never touched it again for like 5 or 6 months and you came back to it. Chances are there would be a graphical overhaul or a couple of new maps or maybe a new vehicle or maybe multiple new vehicles or maybe new aftermarket parts that you can install on your vehicles. And they're always going to be things that honestly fit into the ecosystem of the game really, really well. And honestly, this little section of trail right here is a really good reminder of when this game is kind of at its best. It looks really good, it feels really good, and it honestly just gives you a really, really nice experience. It's kind of in that in-between of where the experience is really realistic feeling without being so realistic that you're having to worry about like a million different things at one time. Like, for example, in BeamNG Drive, where you might be in a situation where, sure, you're having a realistic experience, but you're also having to worry about 10 million different things. And, oh no, what if this happens? Oh no, what if this breaks? Oh no, what if this or what if this? And this game honestly kind of removes a lot of those what ifs and, well, just reset and you're pretty much done and you're good to go. Now, another thing though about this game that honestly I think a lot of other games could learn from is that it does a really good job of creating an atmosphere that feels intriguing, it feels inviting, but it also doesn't necessarily feel so overpacked with so many different things to do that you feel overwhelmed. It does a really good job of putting you in that space of, I'm in the middle of the wilderness, I'm out here by myself, and at the same time though, I don't necessarily feel stressed about it. I don't feel like it's just a desolate wasteland with nothing to do. But at the same time, I also feel like, there's not so much going on that you just don't know what to do because you're overwhelmed by a million different options. It's more just like, here's the environment itself. Go ahead and interact with it as you please, or don't. It's up to you either way. And I also want y'all to let me know in the comments down below, do you remember this game? Do you still have it on your PC? Is it something that you still jump on every once in a while? Or is it a game that you've kind of moved on from and you just consider it something of the past for you? Like a game of the past, an experience of the past that you're not really into anymore? I'm definitely back and forth on it because this is my very first time actually diving in and playing it in a super long time. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't continue to play it. I also entirely forgot about the functionality of that little camper trailer. And if I had remembered what it does, earlier on, let's just say I would have been a lot more, I would have been a lot more interested in using it because I would have pulled it right over here and used it as my respawn point from a much earlier point in the video. But if y'all enjoyed this look at this brand new map in pure rock crawling, which I am so incredibly excited to see still getting new content to this day in 2023, let me know any and all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And if you're new around here and you would like to see more videos like this one, not exactly like this one, but definitely similar, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And I will see y'all next time.